views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Thursday morning to you. Welcome to the show. Senior producer Ryan Nicholson is in charge of things this morning. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor, text 304-935-500. We're at the Jarrett Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit jarrett-construction.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly. On Spring Street in Charleston, texting service provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Tailor, Virginia Street. Tony resuming his normal hours March the 16th, saying goodbye to the wintertime months. And make sure you mark these dates down. There's going to be an Oxford Clothes and Alan Edmonds Trunk Show next Thursday, a week from today. Also, a Hart Schaffner Marks and Johnston and Murphy Trunk Show on the 26th, a Brax Show on April the 9th, and the DiBianco Footwear and Malcolm Trousers Show April 23rd. More details available, bestmastertailor.com or on Tony's Facebook page. Thursday edition of the show, one step closer to the weekend, sunny and 75 in the capital city. I'm going to keep saying it until it's true. Serious note, though. Hope you enjoyed the 80s yesterday, because today, not so much. Even some snow in some areas. It's going to warm up for the weekend. Then, more cold and possible snow showers early next week, according to Metro News meteorologist Brian Hughes. You gotta love March in Appalachia. Coming up, State Supreme Court Justice Thomas Ewing is here. He was appointed to that position by Governor Patrick Morrisey last year. Now he's going to have to run for that position in the May primary. He'll join us later in the show. Plus, this Saturday, the place to be, Capitol Market, for the annual Green Chili Shootout and Market Mayhem Wrestling event. I will not be part of the wrestling show. Those days for me are over. However, I will be there with our sister station 98.7 The Mountain, Wild and Wonderful Classic Rock, and several other stations will be there as well. We'll talk about that event and the wrestling portion of it later in the show. Final couple days of the legislature, floor sessions beginning this hour for the House, Senate going in, I think, at 11. Yesterday, the battle over pepperoni rolls and Fritos and vaccines all together. Closing days of the legislature. TJ and Wilson are live there with Talk Line, and this will be the final time that they'll be live at the Capitol for this legislative session. We'll check in with them toward the end of the show. And, of course, the state girls basketball tournament continuing at the Coliseum and Convention Center. So we got lots of stuff to get to, and as always, your calls and texts are welcome. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Tailor, text 304-935-500. And welcome into the show now, Republican candidate for State Senate, District 17, Chris Pritt. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Great to be with you this morning.
Great to have you here. And you have a special guest with you this morning?
Yes, I do. I have my son, Jackson, who's here. He is a big fan of this station. He's a big fan of radio. Mm-hmm. Every single day he's got the radio on. He's off on spring break this week.
Does he want a job? He can host this show. I mean, he can host it now if he wants to. We'll talk to you because we're always looking for people up here. All right, Chris, so for those, you've been on the show, you've been around politics for some time, but those that don't know, give us a bio on Chris Pritt.
Well, sure. I am a practicing attorney. I was a former member of the West Virginia House of Delegates. I served from 2020 to 2024. I ran a law practice with my wife, Kelly, until December of 2024, when she took the bench as one of our family court judges here in Kanawha County. Right, so she was elected in May of 2024. And so we did that for a number of years. Now I'm a solo practitioner. We mostly do estate planning. We also do some real estate transactions. But yeah, I am running for the West Virginia State Senate. I served 4 years in the House of Delegates, and I'm ready to move to the other side of the chamber.
What is it about the State Senate that appeals to you?
I think that it's a little bit easier to get things done over there. Obviously, there aren't as many people there. I think that in terms of getting bills introduced, getting it on the committee agenda, there's just fewer people there. It's just easier to get things passed. Obviously, you're dealing with less people, less personalities. I just think you can get more accomplished.
100 in the House is a lot, Chris. I mean,
Absolutely.
it really is. And
Yes.
you got 100 people and 150 different personalities there in the House.
Sure, absolutely. And I've never, especially if you don't want to be, I think there's a couple of tracks you can go on when you're in the legislature. One is to be a more independent voice. One is to be, there's what I would call a leadership track, where you just, you join up with leadership, you work your way up, you become a committee chair. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's not in my future at some point, but that's not the role that I see myself in at this point. I want to work as being an independent voice, an independent conservative in the state Senate. That's what I was in the House of Delegates. And so I think that given that that's the track, I think that the Senate is a good fit for me. Certainly once you get to certain levels of leadership in the House of Delegates, that's when you can really have influence. But something can be said for not having to be, I guess you could say, accountable to leadership on things, not having to face that kind of pressure, not having strings they can hold over your head. And that's great for some people. That's perfectly fine. That's just not me.
Okay.
I mean, I want to be able to get in there and vote my conscience for every single vote. Now, I'm going to do it in a polite way. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be purposely being rude or anything, but at each and every vote, I'm going to do what I think is the right thing for the people of West Virginia.
It's District 17. Explain the district.
Sure. The district consists of, you're going sort of from the northern part of the county and around, it consists of the Sissonville area, the Elkview area, down into eastern Kanawha County, kind of north of the river, that it goes over and gets Kanawha City, South Hills, South Charleston, and St. Albans. That's pretty much the district.
Okay, so what do you see as the biggest needs of a district, Chris?
I think the biggest needs is economic development. I mean, I think that's really where we need to step up. I think that we do things where government gets in the way. I think there are lots of things that we can do to help people. Economic development. I think, look, we're doing some great things in the state of West Virginia to move the ball. An interesting statistic that blows people's minds sometimes is the fact that we are losing population, but there are more people moving into the state than are moving out. Now, this is statewide. Obviously, there's different patterns based on the part of the state that you're living in.
Sure, yeah.
But we have a decreasing population, and hopefully we're going to reverse that. And I think we can in the next few years.
What do we need to do to reverse that, if you don't mind my interrupting? Well, I mean, where would you, if you're tasked with that, I mean, what are some things that are on your plate that you think you could do that would be good for the district to try to increase the population? Competitiveness based on just common sense things that are going to affect people moving here. One of the things I think is broadband. I mean, I think that's a very, very common sense thing that we can do to move the ball forward. And when I say that, I'm talking about people that would move into our state who can work remotely, people who have a history, a connection with the state of West Virginia, that have the ability to work remotely. I mean, I talk to people all the time who move in, who need some estate planning done, who are coming from elsewhere, who are moving back to West Virginia. Either they're retired or semi-retired, or they have the ability to work remotely. But one of the ways that we can do that is making sure we have good broadband. That's something that's going to be in the future, I think, to get people to move here. I think we have here in the Kanawha Valley, we've got some decent broadband, but I think expanding upon that, giving people options, I think that's something that we can do. The other thing that we can do is we can make sure that our tax code is as competitive as possible. We need to make sure that taxes are as low, especially for our seniors who have worked their tails off their entire lives, and some of them face tax burdens. I think we need to make sure that taxes are lower for them. The other things that I think we can do is we can make sure that, for example, we get government out of the way to expand the economy. and I think, and I'll use a couple of examples for this. And this doesn't get talked about a lot, I've seen in media, but there's a very simple thing that we could do. It relates to what's called certificate of need. And I don't know if this has been brought up on other interviews. I don't see it brought up a whole lot in sort of my circles, but basically, if you want to start a healthcare related business in West Virginia, you have to get the permission of the government. Other states don't have that. Mm-hmm. Other states, like if you want to start up a business in Texas or other states that don't have this, you don't have to get the permission of the government. Mm-hmm. And so we have this is specific to the medical industry, though.
Specific to the medical industry, right.
Okay.
So It's a program that's been around since the 70s in the state of West Virginia. I think we could get rid of that, and I think we would have major economic development in the healthcare industry if we were to get rid of that. I think, generally speaking, if you get government out of the way, you're going to see economic growth. It's very, very simple, Dave. Lower taxes, getting government out of the way. I think businesses and people are going to thrive, and I think that's the key to economic development here in the Kanawha Valley.
Talking to Chris Pritt again, who's a Republican candidate for State Senate out of District 17. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Husson's Pizza. This month, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a pepperoni calzone. Get it all for only $21.99. Find your local Husson's for pickup, dine-in, or delivery. HussonsPizza.com. Chris, how's the campaign gone so far?
It's great. I'm getting out there. I'm talking with people. I'm meeting with as many people as possible. I think it's going very well.
And I would think because people know who you are, because, again, you were in the legislature before, you've run for other offices, so it's not like you have to play the, here. I mean, some people may not know you, but I think you've been around long enough. People know who you are, so you have that facial recognition. I
think so. I think when I talk with people, a lot of people know who I am, but it's just one of those things. It's just on if you start at the very top, president, everybody knows who the president is. The vast majority of people know who our senators are and our governor is. And on down the line, there are people who aren't as engaged, who don't know who I am, but that's okay. I mean, that's the reason we have campaigns. That's the reason we get out there and meet people. But yeah, I think we've got a good, strong base to work from in terms of our campaign. I think it's going well. I think people are really responsive to the message that we have about how we're going to move Kanawha County forward.
You have a website or social media you like to?
Yes, well, in terms of social media, it's really easy. It's Pritt for the people, the number 4. It's on X and Facebook and such. And then my website is really easy. It's chrisprittwv.com.
Give me 30 seconds, final 30. Why should someone vote for Chris Pritt, Republican, for State Senate, District 17?
We need to move Kanawha County and West Virginia in a conservative direction. One of the things that I've seen in the state legislature over the past couple of years is that we have conservative legislation that's being thwarted. I talked about certificate of need reform. Okay, that's something. It looks like we're getting a 5% tax cut based on everything I can see. I would have liked that to have been 10%. I think we need to be doing more to lower the taxes for our seniors. Other things that we can do to push us in a more conservative direction that I don't think is going to get through the legislature this session is E-Verify. That means if you're a business and you simply have to check the immigration status of the people who are going to come work for you. I think that's an easy, common sense thing that we can do to move in a conservative direction. All of those things. I think that if people look at my record, if people look at what we're talking about here, we are going to move Kanawha County and West Virginia in a more conservative direction if I'm elected to the state Senate.
Chris Pritt, Republican candidate, District 17 for State Senate. Appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. And
sure thing.
For you, young man, enjoy the last couple of days of your spring break, okay? All
right.
You want to say anything to us? Well, you got a live microphone there.
No.
Okay.
Not
Except
really.
vote for Dad, right?
Yes.
But vote for Dad.
Yep.
Vote for Dad and get him out of my house. That's what you're saying. Put him to work. All right, Chris Pritt, I appreciate you being here, buddy. Thanks a lot. It is 9:20. We'll take a break. Coming up a little bit later on, getting ready to talk chili and wrestling at the Capitol Market. It is the annual Green Chili Shootout, Market Mayhem. It's all happening Saturday. We'll talk to the folks from the wrestling aspect of it and the chili aspect of it as well. And when we come back, we are going to talk to State Supreme Court Justice Thomas Ewing. He pointed to that position last year, and he would appreciate your vote this time. We're going to let you get to know him when we come back on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
My name's Chris Miller. I'm president of Dutch Miller Automotive. Jarrett Construction completely renovated and helped redesign Dutch Miller Kia in South Charleston. The fit and the finish and the quality of the project is exceptional. He has an attention to detail and an eye for that kind of stuff. You always want to give your best to your customer. It's just as important to him as it is to you. If you're ever looking to build anything, I'd call Jarrett Construction because you know exactly you're going to get something excellent every single time.
Call on Jarrett Construction.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
According to Feeding America, over 7 million seniors nationwide were food insecure in 2022. West Virginia is no different. Hi, I'm Jason, President and CEO of Union Mission Ministries. For 113 years, Union Mission has focused on helping people in need. Right now, our senior citizens need our help. That is why Union Mission is partnering with local senior living facilities to get food delivered directly to those in need. Will you help us reach more seniors? Visit unionmission.com to learn more.
Welcome back to the show, 923. If you're a parent or grandparent worried about how you're going to pay for college for that children of yours, or those children, Metro News presenting the 19th annual West Virginia Scholar Program. One high school junior in the state's going to get a full ride to Wesleyan, room, board, tuition, and fees. Full details available at WVMetroNews.com. Click on the Apply Now button. Deadline to enter May 3rd. 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetroNews.com and apply today, but the deadline is May 3rd. We'll get to your phone calls and texts coming up a little bit later on. Also, the folks from the Capital Market are going to join us. Green Chili Shootout happening Saturday over at Capital Market. Chili and wrestling. I mean, what more could you want, right? So we'll talk to those folks coming up a little bit later on. And, of course, the Bigly Piggly Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text, 304-935-5008. Last year, this gentleman was appointed to the Supreme Court of Appeals by Governor Morrissey, and this May in the primary hopes to be elected to the bench. He is Thomas Ewing, and he joins us now on the show. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave. Thanks for having me.
You prefer morning. Thomas, Tom, Judge,
Tom's
Your Honor?
Tom.
Just Tom, huh?
Yeah.
Give us a bio on Tom Ewing.
All right. So I grew up in Fayette County, educated in Fayette County.
What part of Fayette County?
Grew up in Hyco, the intersection between Route 60 and 19.
Know exactly where it is.
In between Summersville and Fayetteville. And so I went I graduated Mill and Trail High School and then went on to Glenville State College. And I went to Glenville mostly interested in playing basketball. I got the opportunity to play college basketball. Graduated with a social studies education and a history degree from Glenville. While I was doing my student teaching, I decided to pursue law school. Went to law school at WVU, graduated in 2004. And after law school, I worked for K. Casto and Cheney law firm from 2004 to 2018. And ultimately, my time with K. Casto ended because I was appointed by then Governor Justice to replace John Hatcher as judge in Fayette County. So, I've been in public service, the judiciary, since January of 2019, and so most of my time, recent times, obviously involved in as a judge or justice, but I do have a pretty extensive experience doing civil work as an attorney with one of the bigger law firms in the state.
Now, as an attorney, did you always have your eye on the judicial branch? Because not all attorneys do. I mean, some are perfectly happy with just doing what they do, but others have always got that eye on the prize. How was it for you?
I would say it's something that sort of evolved over time as an attorney. Obviously, to back up, when I graduated law school, when I started law school, I didn't even know an attorney. So after law school, you start working with a firm, you get out, you actually learn what lawyers do and what being a lawyer is actually what the job's actually like. So initially I was just trying to, figure out what I'm supposed to do and how I pay the bills through being a lawyer. My practice evolved and my location evolved. So later on before I was appointed as judge in Fayette County, I actually opened an office in Fayetteville for K. Casto. And they mostly did that as a convenience for me, to be honest with you. But through that process, I started getting abuse and neglect appointments. And that was the first time I was actually able to see what was really going on in my community. I lived in my own little bubble, obviously driving from I live in Edmond. So driving from Edmond to Charleston every day, or to, before I opened the office in Fayetteville, I didn't really have an idea of what, the opioid epidemic, the abuse and neglect, all this was going on. It was sort of something that I was aware of, but it wasn't affecting me. Mm-hmm. And once I started getting the appointments, I started seeing what was going on in the community, and I started interacting with the local circuit judges a lot more, because I was there for the abuse and neglect hearings, the appointed work. And through that process, I was able to, I guess, develop a pretty good working relationship with Judge Hatcher. And so at some point before he was announced he was retiring, Judge Hatcher actually came to me and said, "I'm looking to retire, and I think you would be a good person to follow me. I would like for you to consider that." So that was probably the first time that I had the opportunity to think about, can I do this job? Is that something I want to do? And having sort of the recommendation or the backing of, Judge Hatcher, like, sort of pushing me to walk through that door when it opens was motivating. And I thought, I can do this. So once I got past whether I could do it or not, then it was something that I thought I could see the value in being a circuit court judge, being involved in different things to help the community, because there's a lot of issues with families, the substance abuse, obviously, that the circuit judge has a lot of opportunity to help there. And it's different than what you typically think of as law and order from a judicial standpoint, but with the treatment courts and the problem solving programs that the courts are involved in now, like there is a lot of opportunity for a judge to serve and make a difference in the individual lives of the people appearing before him or her. So that was something that motivated me to pursue it back in 2018.
Talking to Supreme Court Justice Tom Ewing. All right, so talk about being appointed to the bench by the governor last year.
So the process started with the Judicial Vacancy Commission, and submitted the application. And I went into the interview with the JVAC with really to make the point, and I believe that someone with circuit judge experience needed to be on the court. Justice Hutchinson had since retired. He was the only judge or justice with circuit court experience on the bench at the time. And so I went in that interview, to make the case that first, that a circuit judge should receive the appointment, and second, that I should be the one to receive it. And part of my selling point to the JVAC at that point was that, I have a broad base of experience as far as the civil perspective. Our circuit in Fayette County, the large number of abuse and neglect cases that I'd handled either personally as an attorney or as a judge. I started treatment court programs, worked in treatment court programs, and so I felt like I had the broad base of experience to be of value to the court and add something to the discussions that go on in that room when you're debating the decisions in those cases. So that was my selling point to the JVAC. And then Governor Morrissey was very involved in the process. If you'll recall, he actually scheduled individual interviews with each of the recommendees from the JVAC. And I had hour and a half long personal interview with him. And then the next week he called me back for a second interview. So the process was very involved. I think he put a lot of effort into vetting the folks who were recommended. And, ultimately I was thankfully able to convince him that I was the right person for the appointment. So, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to have those discussions and to be able to prove myself through the process, because he said at one point, I didn't know anything about you until this process started. Mm-hmm. And I think he actually made that statement during the press conference. And so the process itself let me prove that I was the right person for the appointment.
Supreme Court Justice Tom Ewing is here for Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. We're gearing up for another great season of baseball over at Gomart Ballpark. Get your season tickets, merchandise, and more at dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Judge, explain what the average day or either on the bench or maybe off the bench is for a Supreme Court judge, because I think sometimes the public only sees it when you make the news, when you're ruling on a certain case or so on and so forth. What's an average day like?
So I think it's important to understand that the Supreme Court's role is not just those oral arguments in deciding the cases, the opinions you see, the things that make the news. The court also has an administrative function. The 5 justices essentially operate as a board of directors for the entire judiciary across the state. 1,700 employees, a budget of, depending on what ultimately, I guess the legislature passed, it was like $176 million budget, operating, HR departments and programs across the state, so that what the public sees as the role of the justice, the oral arguments where we're wearing the robes and asking questions to the attorneys, that's just a small part of it. It's actually a job that's, it has both that legal requirement and obligation and an administrative obligation. And the administrative obligation has actually been the learning curve for me, because as a circuit judge, I didn't have a budget. As a circuit judge, I managed some employees and had to operate programs and do some things, but not to the extent of the decision making that the justices have to make about the financial obligations and budgeting and trying to work with the legislature to get a budget that that fits the needs of the judiciary. So that the main thing to understand for the public to understand, I think, is that the role is much greater than just those oral arguments where you see the court asking questions to the attorneys. Now, the other part that goes into it for the legal side is there's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of reading and research and getting ready for those oral arguments and ultimately writing the opinion. So a typical day will involve a lot of reading. I would definitely say that. This job is much more of an academic venture than being a circuit judge, where a circuit judge you're managing the courtroom. Every single day you're having hearings. Every single day you're in there with the parties face to face. So I would say that being a circuit judge was probably overall a harder job as far as like the stress and tension, because you're face to face making decisions with the people who are affected by those decisions. And as I use the term academic for the Supreme Court, I mean, obviously it's not an academic venture because the decisions we make are affecting individuals, are affecting businesses, are affecting government agencies. So, it's important to always remember that. But it's removed from the personal connection with the litigants, the parties, and is more, obviously we're just looking at the record. We're not taking testimony. We're not hearing the evidence like the circuit judges are, or the family court.
How has the campaign been going? Because I know in the judicial, you can't, you're, I don't want to say restricted, but there's certain ways that you have to go about campaigning, things you can say, whatever. So how's the campaign been going overall?
Yeah, so that part of it, I mean, I've been through 2 judicial campaigns so far as a circuit judge, so I was comfortable with where the lines are. I think I've done a pretty good job of staying in the lines. But the realization for me is how big the state of West Virginia is. I mean, you think about the 55 counties and the terrain and getting around. It's a statewide election is a big undertaking, and I've had a couple of people ask me. So the other thing is with the Division 2, the one I'm running.
Yeah, that's very important. I need to mention that. So
the Division 2 is only for the 2-year remaining part of Justice Walker's term, and so whoever wins, if I'm fortunate enough to win, I'm going to have to run again in 2028 to keep the job for the 12-year term.
Right.
And when you go out and explain people
It is very
what's
complicated.
going on.
It can be.
And you're trying to explain how why you're doing it. And then when you explain, well, I basically have 2 elections back to back, a lot of people say, why did you want to do this?
That's a lot of miles on the old vehicle there, Judge.
why did you want to do this? And why were you willing to leave, or why did you want to leave a guaranteed 7 years left on your term in Fayette County as a circuit judge? Why did you want to leave that? And so for me, it's just to be able to demonstrate to people how passionate I am about doing this job. And I think it has the opportunity to impact on a much broader scale than what I was able to do in just being a judge in Fayette County.
Do you have a website or social media or anything like that?
It's www.ewing4wv.com is the website. Have social media. It'd be under the same thing.
Okay, you can find it
Google
easily.
Me.
All right, final 30. Why should someone vote for you for Supreme Court?
I believe that I should be able to keep my position. The voters should vote to keep me on the Supreme Court because, as I said before, I think it's critical to have someone with circuit court experience on that bench. And I feel that my experience, I'm the first justice with treatment court experience. I have extensive experience dealing with the abuse and neglect cases personally as an attorney and the criminal cases. And then I have the experience of being essentially a civil practitioner for 14 years, handling a variety of civil issues. So I feel like my experience as a judge and as an attorney makes me uniquely qualified to contribute as a Supreme Court justice and make the court as good as it can be.
Tom Ewing, I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
We are going to take a break, 22 minutes away from 10, and we're coming back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
The Dave Allen Show is presented in part by Generations Ford in Hurricane, part of the Eric J. Tarr family of businesses.
If you've been injured, you need a lawyer who knows West Virginia because they live in West Virginia. Tom and Harvey Payton were born and raised here. They've spent decades fighting for injury victims, and they know how to get results. At the Payton Law Firm, you get straight talk, strong representation, and local attorneys who care. Call 755-5556 today or visit PaytonLawFirm.com.
The attorneys referenced in this ad are lifelong residents and are licensed to practice law in the state of West Virginia.
The spring thaw in West Virginia can only mean one thing. It's Truck Month at Walker Chevrolet in Nitro. There is no better time to pick out a new truck than right now. And not only are you going to find the truck that you want, but you're going to find it at the price you want too. Gene and Ryan have packed a lot in Nitro with both new and pre-owned inventory to make sure that they have the perfect truck waiting on you. And you know that you're going to get the best deal possible at Walker because Gene and Ryan built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games at Walker, just honest, fair deals. And don't forget, if you've got a vehicle to sell, Walker is buying cars too. That's right, all makes and models are welcome at Walker, and they'll buy yours even if you plan to buy somewhere else. That new truck, though, that you've been dreaming about is waiting on you right now during Truck Month at Walker Chevrolet. In the shadow of the Interstate Bridge, just off the Nitro exit of I-64. Walker Chevrolet, making friends one deal at a time.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when needed. We show up with access to convenient care options and coverage that fits everyday life. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
20 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Line, brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan. With more than $20 billion recovered, they believe when you're injured, you deserve more. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. It's going down at Capitol Market this Saturday, annual Green Chili Shootout, talking green chili and wrestling. Noon till 4, the market this Saturday. Weather's going to be absolutely fantastic. Our good buddy Chuck McGill from the Capitol Market here to talk about the chili aspect, and Adam Harris here to talk about the wrestling aspect. Editor's note, many of your favorite WVRC Media Charleston characters will be there, some that you probably don't like as much. I'll be there, speaking of the ones you don't like, with Steve Hannibal and Shockley, representing 98.7 The Mouth of Wild and Wonderful Classic Rock. I understand Rob Reel from Superstar Country KWS is going to be there. Several others as well. Chuck, good morning and welcome to the show.
Fitting, you brought us both in here for a little tag team action.
Yes,
the wrestling.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, 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 ding. All right, so let's talk first chili, and then we'll talk wrestling after that. So green chili shoot. How many years has this been going on? It's been
going on a few years, but this is my first, so I'm learning with everyone too.
Okay.
But yeah, we have the green chili shootout from noon to 4 on Saturday at Capitol Market. You can purchase tickets ahead of time on capitalmarket.net for $10 and save you a few bucks. It's $15 when you walk up for tasting tickets. We'll have beer and wine, and we've got 20 professional cooks and a bunch of amateur cooks, so you'll be able to try the green professional chili in the green chili shootout, but we'll have other kinds of chili too if that's not your thing, with beef, with chicken, with beans, without beans, lots of beer and wine from the wine shop. So we've got a lot on hand, a lot of pop-up vendors too. Pickle Guy will be there, Sarah's Bakery will be there, and then of course we'll turn it over for Adam and wrestling at 4:00.
So, I mean, I discovered green chili later in life because, being a kid of the coal fields, there was only one way to make chili, and it wasn't even hot, to be honest with you. I discovered the spice later when I married my wife, and we like it spicy. But define green chili. I mean, for people that don't, it's not just green food coloring. There's a lot more to it.
Yeah, they're hatch green chilies, and you can roast them, chop them, everything like that. I got my first experience. I was working at Marshall Athletics in 2017. Marshall got the New Mexico Bowl. That's where, Colorado and New Mexico are where green chilies are primarily grown. There's a very small location where you can grow those. I went out there for that bowl game, and I think I tried a green chili cheesesteak first.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then it went into green chili burgers, obviously the stew, enchiladas, and I couldn't stop eating it the whole time there. And you're right. It's not overly powerful. It's not a Carolina Reaper type pepper where you're going to get bowled over. But man, it's so versatile, and it's got such good flavor. I'm really excited because this attracts champions from all across the country, award-winning green chili experts, and then the winner gets a berth into the World Championship. So it's a really big deal.
It is a very, very big deal to have that in West Virginia. And look, West Virginia, we already know West Virginia is a culinary state anyway. I mean, we all know about Chef Paul and the others, that have done the James Beard Award. But I mean, we have at least a couple, maybe 3, 4, if not more, international chili competitions held in West Virginia. I take part in the one in Nitro with my buddy Joe Stevens every year. I mean, and people come from all over the country to these things to compete.
Yeah, and I mean, I go to regular chili competitions, cook-offs all the time. And like local, you have really, really high level chili.
Yeah.
So you'll have that too. You'll have really good local chili from the amateur cooks, but then you get 20 professional in here making their green chili. I think people are really going to have a good time. Weather's supposed to be perfect, mid-60s, sunny.
Fantastic.
And then we've got entertainment for the last 2 hours too. So DJ EJ will be there spinning music all day. So
we have not an event in Charleston without, especially over at Capitol Market, that DJ EJ being there. He's practically lives there, I think, but he does such a good job, man. The guy is absolutely awesome. All right, so if somebody wants to enter the competition, is it too late for that?
I think it's too late for that, but we've got 25 there, 20 professionals. But please come, get tasting tickets, get your wine.
How do the
beer.
tasting tickets go? Explain that.
Yeah, so you can go online to purchase tasting tickets for $10, and you'll go around. You'll get a certain amount.
But you can get them there.
You can get them, but you also get them there. So if you want to walk up to see how your Saturday's going, I think you're going to wake up Saturday morning and be like, the weather is perfect. Let's go outside. Someone said to me the other day that they felt like this was kind of the unofficial kickoff to spring for Charleston. I love that idea.
I love it.
We're weeks away from the outdoor market opening, flowers and everything just blooming outside. So let's get outside under the pavilion and have a really good time with music and wrestling. And I think it's going to be an awesome family experience. Bring everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of family experience, Adam Harris is here right now to talk about
my brother.
Talking about a little wrestling that we're doing. It'll always be wrestling to me, just so you know.
Yeah, I want to say how excited I am that Chuck and his new role as the executive director wanted to include wrestling again this year. This is our third time at Market Mayhem. It's an awesome way for some casual fans. Maybe you're wrestling curious, as I like to say, and you've never experienced live professional wrestling. This is a perfect opportunity to do it. It does cost a little bit if you want to taste all the chilies there, but the wrestling is free. You can even bring your own chair, and I know there'll be some diehards there, but the best part is turning on casual fans to the athleticism.
Because at these events,
and absurdity
like when you've done it,
wrestling.
when you've done it in the past, and I've been there. There are people that are like, "Oh, what's going on down there?"
Oh yeah,
and that's always, to me, as somebody who spent over 30 years in the business, I think that is something to me that is always fun, is when you have them on outdoor shows, festivals, whatever, where people they just kind of happen into it.
Yeah, they kind of wander up.
They're like, what are we watching?
And
here?
as you know, you probably did shows in parking lots all over the state or
Dude,
beyond.
You'd be
even.
surprised the places I've done shows.
But those are the funnest ones to me. They're like the secret sauce of pro wrestling, because no matter what, people are going to at least pass by and go, "Oh, whoa, neat."
Yeah.
Or even better, they hear it. First of all, you know how loud the ring can be, you know? And so they have no choice but to hear it going on, and then they wander up, and sometimes they don't know how to behave. They don't know how to respond necessarily, but they're looking around at the other fans. And then by the end of the thing, they're yelling and screaming like just everybody else, because that's the idea of professional wrestling. You get to kind of forget about your everyday life. Remember that spring is here, and get out some of that anxiety that we all built up during the deep freeze
during
of
the winter
26.
from hell. All right, so if somebody wants to come out to the wrestling show, we wanted to buy tickets, we wanted to sample the things there, but if somebody just wants to come to the wrestling show, they can come, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's free, outdoor, the market is open, right?
Yeah. But once you get in there and you smell that chili, and you're probably going to want something.
You're going to want some chili. But like I said, we have a lot the West Virginia Pickle Guy will be there.
Yeah.
Sarah's Baker will be there. Girl Scouts will be there. Grits Farm will have their first fresh produce of the season this Saturday. So kicking off a lot, leaning into the weather and spring beyond the horizon.
All right, Adam, let's talk about the wrestling. Who we got on the show?
Well, technically, we're presenting this as Regatta Pro Wrestling, which is, of course, associated with the summer event that happens around the 4th of July. And we will have the return of the Sternwheel Slamboree this summer. But this is our third year of Market Mayhem, and what Regatta Pro Wrestling seeks to do is we partner with a few different wrestling organizations here in the region, including Conquest out of Kanawha City, ASW out of Madison, Logan area, where Ewing announced for many years, Appalachian Championship Wrestling, who run a lot of outdoor shows, but also beyond our state borders, and also Power Slam Academy, which is run by Chance Profit. And all four of those organizations have shows coming up this month, next month. And our idea is to kind of open people's eyes to the amount of pro wrestling that's out there in the state and encourage them to go and check out some of our other partner organizations. And so all four of those organizations have wrestlers presented on the card this afternoon. We're going to have a mixed tag match, which is one man and one woman against another man and another woman. The ASW Boone County Championship is going to be on the line. And the ACW Championship is going to be on the line in our opener from when handsome Nick Hamrick steps in against pure trash Ron Mathis.
You gotta love it. Pure trash. I know Ron Mathis very, very well.
Yeah.
He lives up to his name.
No doubt.
In a good way. And I say that in the best possible way.
He's one of the best.
He is one of the best out there. And you'll be ringing out tonight, I'm presuming.
I will be, yes. I will be there. And thanks to DJ EJ, and also my friend John Funn's going to be running music, because EJ, of course, has another gig he's got to get to.
Yeah, of course. He's got like 5.
That's right.
Probably on that particular day, knowing DJ EJ. You've been in the business, Adam, for some time.
This is my 10th year, Dave, thanks to you. Yeah, this is my 10th year of ring announcing.
So what do you get out of it? I know that you grew up as a wrestling fan, as I did.
Yeah.
And a little bit of different generation there, but that's okay. Well, what is it that you enjoy so? Because you do this all over the country.
Yeah, well, and I first went to wrestling at the Civic Center. It's now the Coliseum in 1992. And I think that's where I truly fell in love with professional wrestling. And I realized, wow, this is it's interactive. This is just like you see on TV, except you get to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with wrestling then. And I think now, the thing I get the most out of is just kind of like reconnecting with that inner child a little bit, remembering the love that you have for wrestling. And I remember that day when I walked into the arena seeing the ring for the first time, and I went, whoa, it looks just like it looks on television.
Surreal. My first show.
I'm getting chills thinking about it.
The first show that I ever went to as a 6th grader was at the Logan Memorial Fieldhouse, Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Love it.
Sold out. Tommy Rich and Buzz Sawyer.
Oh, man.
On top, as we say, in the main event.
Love that.
And I walked in, and people that know the Logan Memorial Fieldhouse, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a high school gym. It's a mini coliseum. And I walked in and smelled the popcorn, and I saw that wrestling ring, dude. And I was like, I said in 6th grade, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to describe. And I still try to take a moment and observe the ring whenever I get to the venue. I look at it and I go, oh yeah, there it is, man. We're happening. It's happening tonight. And so I think that, and then also just trying to encourage young fans, especially because I had my first experience, and I think every time I step in the ring, it could be a young person's first wrestling experience. Yep. And if they're like me, they might be loving it for 40 years.
For the rest of their life. So now, the wrestling show is going to start at what time?
At 4.
At 4. Yeah. And so everything else, the gates will open, I guess, at noon for the actual event.
Yeah, well, the market will be open at 10. But we'll be setting up from 10 to noon. We'll actually start tasting the chili at noon.
And I encourage folks to get there early, especially to taste the chili. But you never know when the action might kick off. So
just saying,
we've got to award our winners of the chili competition as well. And I think we're going to do a little crossover presentation this year, I think.
I love that. Now, and you're asking fans to bring their own chairs?
They can if they want. Sometimes there's some chairs available. There's hay bales out at the market. Yeah. But if you want to make sure you have a seat, you can bring your camp chair. Just keep it to yourself.
All right. Where can people?
No steel chairs.
Where can people? That's for the professionals. Where can people learn more about this, Chuck? About the actual event?
Yeah, capitalmarket.net, or follow us on our social media pages. And you have one too, right?
We have Regatta Pro Wrestling, and there's an event page on Facebook. If you type in Green Chili Shootout, you'll find us.
All right, we'll see you over there. As I said, I'm going to be over there with 98.7 The Mountain, Wild, Wonderful, Classic Rock. Rob from KWS is going to be there. Looking forward to a great time. It all starts at noon. Weather's going to be fantastic for chili and wrestling. Adam Harris, Chuck McGill, appreciate you both being here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Hang out with me 1 second. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Generations Ford of Hurricane. Great deals going on now on their selection of used vehicles. Shop and compare any used vehicle to generationsford.com. But if you need service, ask about their works package and their pickup and delivery service, too. Check them out today just off the Hurricane exit of I-64. One destination for every generation. Generations Ford. See dealer for details. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
Get ready for the March state basketball tournaments with Metro News TV. Download for live games, highlights and recaps, plus episodes of our exclusive interview series, State of Minds, and your favorite daily programs right on your smart TV or streaming device. Get more information at WVMetroNewsTV.com. Metro News Television is powered by Dan Cava GMC, Gomart, Lou Wendell Marine, Stike Wealth Enhancement, and Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
You've worked hard. You've saved. Now it's time to make your money work for you without second-guessing every decision. I'm John Burdett with 4th Avenue Financial, and I help people retire with confidence and clarity. We'll create a personalized plan that fits your lifestyle, your goals, and your legacy. Retirement should feel like freedom, not fear. Visit 4thavenuefinancial.com. Let's get started today. 4th Avenue Financial, retirement done right.
Securities offered through Jenny McCole Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny McCole Advisors Incorporated.
Hey, this is Bobby Spry, and last year we purchased a new HVAC system from West Virginia Heating and Cooling. During the inspection of our old unit, their technician discovered a crack in the heat exchanger that was slowly leaking carbon monoxide into our home. From that moment on, we knew we chose the best technicians and the best service. Every technician is drug tested and background checked, giving our family peace of mind. When it comes to protecting your home and family, trust the best. West Virginia Heating and Cooling.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I am often asked, what is the value of my case? The answer, of course, depends on your injuries, liability, and the damages to you financially. And it also very much depends on the law firm you hire to represent you. All firms are not the same. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been here at your time of need. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. When environmental questions come up in a building, Pinnacle provides clear answers. They specialize in asbestos, lead, mold, and indoor air quality with accredited lab testing based right here in West Virginia. Learn more at pinnaclecorp.net, helping you understand your environment, because what you don't know can hurt you. State girls basketball tournament continues at the Coliseum Convention Center. Daytime games as we speak. There's a Quad A game between Morgantown and Cabell Midland going on now. All the daytime games over on Charleston's ESPN Radio, 106.7 FM, 1490 AM. Nighttime games continue here on the WCHS network. Of course, you can also follow the action always at WVMetroNews.com and on their social media pages as well. Metro News Sports pages on Facebook and X, especially good for the quick video highlights and press events. Of course, the website is too. All 4 championship games can be viewed Saturday via the Metro News television app, which if you haven't already done so, make sure you download it. Girls State Tournament now is going on now. The boys are next week. I got to say, what a game last night between Riverside and Hurricane. Double overtime game won by Riverside as they advance to the state tournament next week. Fantastic, fantastic game. Coming up later today, Metro News Midday, 13 News, and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me, powered by Salango Law. Chris Lawrence will be by with the news. Hoppy Kirchhoff is going to stop in. TJ Meadows will get us caught up with what's going on at the Capitol. Chad Morrison from Mountaineer Food Bank is here. State Treasurer Larry Pack will join us as well, and the folks from the New River Gorge Historical Association. And, of course, Open Line West Virginia. Metro News Midday, 13 News, and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me coming up at noon today. Tomorrow on the local show, it's Friday. Angie Gillenwater from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association with this week's Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week. And from the I Don't Know What I'm Thinking department, Tony the Tailor is going to join us on the show. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have Tony on is because, and we're going to go to the Capitol right now. Let me go ahead and bring in Wilson and Meadows, and I'll explain to you why I'm having Tony the Tailor on. Good morning, fellows.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, sir.
All right, so there was a lot of debate, among other things, yesterday about food. And, TJ, I was following you on X, and when I saw food, I said, this interests me. A lot of debate about food dyes and things of that nature, which lends itself to my good friend, sponsor of the text line here, Tony the Tailor Paranzino, who gets to throw in his take, which is always, there is no such thing as a pepperoni roll with cheese on it. That is not a pepperoni roll, says Tony the Tailor. And he's got some other things, too, about the way the pepperoni has to be cut, whether there's that battle between whether you have slices of pepperoni or stick pepperoni. Tony will tell you all about yourself, as my grandmother used to say. So I invited him on the show to set us straight on pepperoni rolls. So you guys make sure you're listening tomorrow.
As long as it's sliced pepperoni, I'm a fan. I can agree with him on the cheese. Dave, you have thoughts on that?
No.
Okay. I have no thoughts.
Well, there is a right way. According to Paranzino, there's a right way and a wrong way to do pepperoni rolls. So if you don't do it the right way, then you're just wrong and you're a godless communist.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty...
Hey, do you know Tony the Tailor? I mean, he's pretty hardcore.
Well, he's not shy about sharing his views. I agree.
No. All right, so are we going to continue talking about Fritos at the Capitol today?
Are we going to get into that today? I think we'll get into it here with this segment with Brad and Amelia coming up.
All right.
Brad and Amelia are going to stop by.
Be sure and ask them how they like their pepperoni rolls, okay?
We'll work that into the conversation.
All right, what else you got?
We'll talk about shenanigans and tomfoolery.
All right.
On the last couple of days of the legislative session. Ben Queen, we think, is going to stop by. He's got a pretty full schedule, but he's going to try to make a couple minutes for us. Brian Dayton, Chamber of Commerce, and Scott Hecker. He's all wound up. He challenged TJ's manhood, so we're going to put him on the air today.
What are you guys sparring over, Meadows?
Oh, nothing,
Scott, no. Scott said we did not have the cojones to put him on the air today.
Ooh, them's fighting words, boys.
You better believe it, buddy. This Boone County boy don't take that.
No one backs Boone County into a corner.
That's exactly right. All right, and this is the final time you guys are going to be at the Capitol because you're in Charleston tomorrow, but you'll be in studio with me tomorrow. So, Wilson, keep your distance.
I can't wait to snuggle.
Oh, good Lord. All right, we'll be talking to you guys coming up at 10:06.
I have to work here. I don't know why.
Thanks a lot. Wilson Meadows coming up at Talk Line from the Capitol for the final time this session coming up at 10:06. I'll be back later today with Metro News Midday. Back on the show tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM, W243DRFM Charleston, and W283AQ Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.